Hello everyone. In this video, we will demonstrate how to record SRP-verified rice transactions sold as conventional rice in RiceTrace. This transaction will not produce transaction certificate. Let's start with an example. So Good Rice Company sold 5 tons of SRP-verified rice to Dino Foods as conventional rice. Dino Foods is not a member of SRP and don't have account in SRP RiceTrace. Therefore, we cannot find Dino Foods as buyer when we fill out the transaction form. Let's create a new transaction. Click Add from Transaction Overview page. So how we have to fill out the transaction form? We have to use buyer with no SRP claim, RT0001, as the buyer. This is an account created by SRP for sales of SRP rice as conventional rice. Complete the form and then click Register Non-Verified Transaction button. After that, the transaction is completed and its status is set as non-verified transaction. Now let's have another example. In some cases, although we sell the SRP rice as conventional rice, some buyers request the TC from RiceTrace, although the buyer is not an SRP verified unit and not an SRP member. The reason is that the buyer wants to prove their sustainable sourcing activities. There are two problems in this example. First, SRP does not issue TC for transaction of rice as conventional rice. Second, because the buyer is not a verified unit and not a member, the buyer's company name is not listed in the RiceTrace because the buyer does not have RiceTrace account. Therefore, in transaction form, sellers normally cannot choose the buyer's company name here. For this case, SRP has prepared the solution. First, about the TC, as SRP does not issue the TC, sellers can print screen this transaction form. About the buyer's company name, sellers can reach out SRP by email to request SRP to make the buyer's name available in transaction form. SRP will put the buyer's name in available buyer list, although the buyer is not a verified unit and not a member, only for this kind of transaction purpose. Let's go back to our transaction example. Let's change the buyer, a company named Green Sourcing Company. This company is not a verified unit and not an SRP member. However, the seller has requested SRP to add the company's name to RiceTrace. Hence, SRP has put it in the buyer list. Now in transaction form, we can find and choose Green Sourcing Company as the buyer. Once all information is filled correctly, we can proceed by clicking Register Non-Verified Transaction button. After that, the transaction is successfully registered and the status is marked as non-verified transaction. Seller now can print screen this transaction page if the buyer requests it as the proof of purchase of SRP verified rice, although in this transaction is not claimed as SRP verified rice. We have reached the end of this video. If you have any further question, please do not hesitate to contact us through assurance@sustainablerice.org. Thank you for watching.